So Phil, you've over 20 years of working with some of the best players in the world. What do you find is the difference between working with this elite level player versus the average golfer?
I think it's very different, with the established tour professional, that they're established, aren't they? They have movement patterns which are established and obviously somewhat successful. So a lot of the time it's more of a refinement of their technique, and you're working on smaller details, but ultimately can have a big impact for that player. With your average golfer, a lot of the times they're very gross and basic errors. So a lot more around technique, and generally there's a lot more of a moving parts, less refined. So there can be very different approaches, a lot more hands-on coaching at times with the average or amateur golfer, getting them into better setups and better overall movement, which also leads to sort of a different level of fitting. The fitting with the club golfer can be just very basic in a sense of getting them into the right lie, length and loft. Whereas with a tour player, the fitting can often be a lot more refined, looking at the subtleties of head shape, torque profile to influence rotation, and the proprioception and awareness of the elite player. They can pick up on things very subtly and it can influence them at times. So yeah, there's a lot more of a detailed approach in terms of the smaller details with the tour professional, and dealing with a lot more gross and basic errors with a club golfer. So two different approaches, but both interesting and challenging.
And you find that working with the elite level player has taught you, or you've learned a lot from that process that you can apply then?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think probably learned more from them over the years than what the knowledge I've passed on. It's helped me tremendously working in that environment. You learn a lot from players, the different approaches they have, the different techniques that they employ, and you kind of working your way around trying to make them a better version of themselves. So you definitely learn that there's more than one way to do it, and I think that then it's enabled me to be able to work, do a better job, and I take that knowledge and that understanding, that learning, to then helping club golfers, and I think it's a lot with you talk about in your role about what you learn from tour and how you take it to club golfers. I don't think it's any dissimilar at all.
Yeah, you referred to the smaller details, and that's definitely the case with the elite level players, where their patterns are so tuned and so refined. And then when you're working with club golfers, then it's a much broader base. So we're trying to tailor to their needs. The great thing from our perspective, because we've got such a big crossover from working with tour players all the way through to amateur golfers, is trying to access the wants and needs and demands of the best players, and then the club golfers benefiting from that when it comes to putter design and makeup.
Yeah, so they benefit from me being a better coach to help them, but from your perspective, I think the feedback that you're getting from tour through the fitting process, the input in and around product, helps us make better product that the amateur golfer ultimately benefits from. So very similar.
And I think regardless of if it's a coaching or a fitting capacity that we're there in, the primary focus is always performance.
Absolutely. Your club golfer wants to come in and improve, whether it's improving their technique or getting fitted for a better putter. And the elite player clearly wants to, it's all about performance with them. So, as a coach, for me, it's about improving the player. And I know as a company, Titleist, massive in terms of player performance. So
player performance and matching up the product to suit their technique. So regardless if it's a major championship or a monthly medal, we want them performance at our highest level.
100%.